Please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic?
Diglett.
Hello everyone, welcome to This Week at X, or Twat, whichever you prefer. Today we're going to start with a tweet from Keemstar. After Keffels got exposed by Muta for allegedly stealing $100,000 from her fans in a fraudulent GoFundMe, demonstrably proven to be true, she refused to respond to the allegations and now only streams video games. I guess political commentary really wasn't for you. Her biggest supporter, Tippy, has deleted all his non-gaming videos and says this. Included is a video I'll get to after I've read the second tweet. They're both pulling the I don't do drama anymore manipulation after a year of being exposed for lies, manipulation and even supporting cartoon CP. Both Keffy Poop McBlockerface and Tippy Whoop, the Chins, recently had their Discord chat logs leaked that contained horrifying behaviour from both. Here's the clip of Tipster doing his bestest of best deflections for your enjoyment.
I'm some wannabe Keemstar.
Oh, wrong one. I meant this one.
No, I have no interest in that anymore. If I'm being honest, Gaming Giant, I'm essentially like a gaming streamer now. Like what you're watching me do right now, that's what I do now.
If this is to be true and you are truly only going forward as a gamer, then I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavours. But let's face it, as a commentary channel you grew to a rather sizable subscriber base, while also being the following: a fence post sitter, a dick rider, a thirsty man that was also married. You continually had repeated poor takes, made poor decisions, have terrible friends, your chins do all the talking, and your format is lazy quartering at best.
Which I've been having so much more fun with, to be honest. I'm actually glad I made Switch. I understand I would get more viewership if I did that kind of content, but I'm not interested. I genuinely don't have any interest in that kind of content anymore, so...
The reason why you have no interest anymore is because you burnt every single bridge, some of whom you were good friends with, and became collateral for your wider message, or because you wanted to believe your newer friend over the older friends. Cough cough Bo Blacks cough cough. Your poor decision making, which I earlier referenced in a whole list of rather shitty personality traits you possess, aptly demonstrate why you really walked away. You just couldn't cut being held to the mark.
What you see right now is what you're going to get with my content moving forward.
If this is your job, again I'll wish you nothing but the best, but let's face it here, your Social Blade numbers don't lie. You are stagnant on viewership, you're losing followers in gaming, you're not really going very many places. Yeah, and your viewership on YouTube is well and truly dead. You should be ashamed of yourself for this one. But you know what, at the same time, it's okay. You've only erased 2.2 million views. That's all, it's not much. It's not like you erased 24 million the previous month. No, you wouldn't do that.
I'll probably stream mostly Resident Evil games. Funny enough, I feel like I'm kind of going full circle, because when I first started streaming consistently, what I started doing was streaming Resident Evil games. I was a Resident Evil streamer back then. I've kind of started doing that again. And I've been enjoying it, honestly. I kind of like that direction.
I'm not going to deny a small part of me is mildly impressed at the willingness to bury one's head in the sand and go back to the beginning, circle back to what we began doing as a full-time streamer, in the hopes that this will enable us to rebuild. Would I be right to assume then, based on how long you've been on YouTube as well, you'll circle back to commentary in the future as well? No doubt by then you'll still be thirsty for them big titty goth mummies, because that was your thing. You'd offer to give them just the tip, and you'd probably still be as large as ever. And then you'll make the same poor decisions on the next young group of commentators that rise up.
I've even kind of gotten in touch with some of the old Resident Evil streamers that I used to interact with back in those days, and a lot of them were like, yeah, we've noticed you've been streaming Resident Evil again, we're kind of happy to see you back, sort of thing. So it's been nice. For the first time in a long time, I enjoy the content I'm making again, which is based as fuck.
I take no issue with those from a former community you were a part of welcoming you back with open arms. Couldn't care less, really. You believing it's based as F to do what you enjoy, you're right in one instance that is actually correct. You should, as a creator, enjoy what you do. You can argue it's based if you like. I think it's kind of cringe to say that, but you can argue it nonetheless. In the context of you, though, remember, you're defending someone who committed fraud. That's what you're defending, under the guise of, it's the transphobias. Your way of escaping it means you're going to have to rebuild as you lose your audience from the commentary space, more and more of whom are leaving daily, while you try and rebuild in Resident Evil to Electric Boogaloo with a renaissance of just the tip. Just in case it was not immediately obvious, my limited patience for this idiot has run out. You also hurt one of my friends, so I'll happily hit you like a piñata.
Diglett.
I was considering segueing by introducing the recent banning of Null, aka Joshua Moon, from Twitter. Null then went on Kiwi Farms and let everyone know what they thought about this and how that they have struggled because of Kiwi Farms to amount to anything, and I can't read any of it to you because it felt like a good segue from Tipster standing by Keffels who tried to get rid of Kiwi Farms, and Kiwi Farms still exists, who simultaneously were never wrong about Keffels anyway, to Joshua Moon being banned from Twitter, which I don't know the reason for. Because of that, I can only allude to this and say I've linked a tweet from Boblax down below which retweets Vito, who has all the posts of Joshua Moon's on the farms, or screenshots of it, so you can read the frustration from Josh himself. Instead, we're going to go to a back and forth concerning Alyssa Merck and Vara Dark, where Keemstar said, "Dear Alyssa Merck and Vara Dark, Happy Punch will help you set up your fight." Alyssa had put out the post, "Girly Pop, have you seen me? I don't even need to train." That's not a question. Accidental. Vara had said, "Can't hit up this little bitch who's hiding behind a block to send me a DM and let's talk match details." Because Alyssa Mercante had basically called out Vara Dark. Alyssa said to Keemstar though, "Not giving you any money, thanks. Keem, why would you give me money?" Alyssa, "You would earn money from this and I dislike you." Keem, "I would not earn money from this. I haven't earned any money from setting up any fight in the past and I've set up many. As far as you not liking me, okay, I don't even know you. But fellow creators asked for my help in setting up this fight, so I'm down to help." Alyssa, "So the promotion, the refereeing, the security, how do you pay for that? Who earns money from the ticket sales? If all the proceeds from this event go to approved charities, that's a different story. But no morally corrupt person is making money off me. Hope that's clear." Keem, "I followed you, my DMs are open. I'm about to do a show, but when I'm done, I'll explain." Keem has made it clear in the past, from setting up a number of fights, he hasn't really benefited monetarily at all from setting up fights. And if any of these do become contests, I would hope to be able to see these contests. I know many look down on these kind of set-up bouts, but to be honest, he did disappoint when he gave us Wings and Boogie, and there is some reasonable talent within the realm of women's boxing.
Diglett.
So let's briefly move in a different direction and talk about Marilyn Monroe, because Pop Culture Gal had tweeted out a number of pictures. A thread of how Marilyn Monroe actually looked in real life in honour of her 98th birthday. 2 wonderful pictures of her smiling, fantastic. 0 HP Lovecraft, can't believe how many men simped for this cow, I am vomit. Now this is a reference to the fact that women's bodies generally have this roundness at the bottom. It's actually a completely natural part of the human anatomy for women especially. In this instance though, there's more context to it. She was pregnant in those pictures. That is confirmed in a news article because the pictures were dubbed the pregnant slides. And no, this was not via her husband at the time, Arthur Miller. No, it was actually her co-star for Let's Make Love. So using these pictures to drive home a point about the female anatomy, where there is nothing at all wrong with that picture, is quite weak. Many simp for Marilyn Monroe because she's considered the epitome of the time she comes from, as far as actresses go, for looks, for everything to be honest. And understandably, that has still stacked up the test of time. If you on social media are going to make it a point to drive home some body-shaming remark, which in this instance it can be regarded to be as such, please make sure that you aren't, well, about to get community noted, which you did. Your point carries less validity, not that it's valid in the first place, since beauty is subjective, when you are unable to use a point that, let's say, isn't a reference to the fact that the person you're using is pregnant.
Diglett.
While Twitter is quite the obnoxious cesspool of anger and aggression, from time to time I do see something that intrigues me. For example, creepy.org had tweeted, Omar Bin Laden, the fourth eldest son of Osama, is an artist and author, and his art is exhibited in France where he lives. Included 2 pictures of him. He looks like a metalhead. I approve of this. Fellow creator Your Boy Pat had retweeted creepy.org with a point that I fully agree with. Why should he have to suffer for his father's sins? Especially when he's on record denouncing him. He should get a fair chance at life until he does something suspicious. Reply, however, you know the government will keep tabs on him until the day he passes. Which is a fair point. Many people did reply to creepy.org about his art actually, and he's not a bad artist to be honest. I do agree with many though in the replies that just say, why have you even bothered with this? Leave him alone, let him do his thing. I think there's something fascinating about how one who comes from someone so evil can be so vastly different. I like that. I hope he lives a long happy life to be honest.
Diglett.
Does anyone remember the drama surrounding Creator Clash 2 and Froggy Fresh, who got removed from the event after spending a fair amount of money and time training for it for absolute BS reasons? Well, recently, Froggy Fresh on Twitter had said, iDubbbz and his wife lied about me on their podcast again today, so I feel like it's about time for an Anissa song. How do you guys feel about that? Comment Cops Burner. Can you rap over one of his Content Cop songs? Reply, I've never watched his videos besides the docs to be honest, so I don't know what songs he had. I remember the Rice Gum one because I thought it was hilarious. Was it called Asian Jake Paul or something? Did it feel good though? Something like that. It was really good. I highly recommend because it had a few rather interesting bars in it. Anissa has been raging a fair bit of late and claiming that at the same time it was solely done as bait to generate additional interest in what she does. And if true, that's clever. It's not a very healthy way of going about it, to be honest though, because those same people will then just point out how much of a fraud you are, continuing to add to the claim that you are a bit of a fraud. All mouth, no trousers as well. And no, that was not a pun, but I'm sure someone has seen some OF pictures here and there and everywhere. If there are any trousers involved, that's great news. I personally think that if you're going to make it a point to lie about another person, as they have claimed on your podcast, then they, the person you have slandered, are well within their right to insult you back. Clap back. If a diss track is appropriate, then do it. I fully support it, and Froggy Fresh is quite the aggrieved individual, and is well within their right to do so if they truly believe what they say. I don't know for certain if there is truth to it, but I do know they have made up a load of nonsense on their podcast involving other creators. And of course the earlier mentioned remark about intentionally baiting commentary channels to drum up additional views. How desperate are you to drum up additional views because of the loss of views on, for example, iDubbbz's own content, that you'd have to resort to that to promote yourself? It's a bit tragic at this point. But to quote iDubbbz, did it feel good though?
Can you tell me about your cosplay?
Diglett.
Why'd you pick Diglett?
The memes.
And so you just said I'm gonna come to DreamCon with no shirt on?
I did.
Are you a bodybuilder?
No.
So you just got here just brawling for no reason?
Yes.
What would be your words of motivation if someone wants to look like you?
Diglett.